Hello everyone. So in this video I'm going to show you how to create a logical volume and format it with the ext4 file system. So these are the steps, but before configuring, let's take a look on the architecture, how logical LVM architecture looks like. So uh, in the system, so there may be the disk attached to the system, to the operating system. So suppose we have suppose three disks attached to the system. Then with the help of that disk, we can create a physical volume. So suppose we have three disks, and we will create separate three physical volume with the disk. And so after the physical volume is created, with the this physical volume, we will create a volume group, and volume group size will be the size of this physical volume plus this physical volume plus this physical volume. So this all physical volume will create one volume group. Now from this volume group, we will have we can create any number of logical volume. So suppose these three disks are of 5 GB, 5 GB, 5 GB, 15 GB, then we can create a logical volume of 7.5 GB and another of 7.5 GB, or first logical volume of 4 GB and second logical volume of 11 GB. So we can create any number and any size as per our requirement, but the sum of the logical volume size cannot be greater than the volume group. So what we are going to do: first create a physical volume, then volume group, and then logical volume. So let's take a look how we can configure. So first I will check the disk name that is attached to the system. For that, lsblk command. So if you see here, there is one disk called stb and its size is 5 GB. So okay, so let's format this disk first with gpt. So I am label gpt. Now uh, I will create one partition, ext4 1049 kb, and the last I will put 100%. So 100%. Okay, now let's enter. Okay, so we have now created one partition, and its partition number is 1 and its size is this one, around 5 GB, and we have formatted with ext4 file system. Now I will apply the LVM flag. So set partition number is 1 LVM on, enter. Now quit it from here, and again check lsblk. Okay, so previously we had one disk, and we have created now one uh, partition. Now our next step would be to create a physical volume. So for that, pb create /dev stb and 1, and hit enter. Now it is obviously showing us that a physical volume is successfully created, but to see that, a command is pbs. So if you see here, we have created one physical volume with this disk, and it's around 5 GB. Now our next step would be to create a volume group. So bg create, and I will name the volume group at my bg and my bg, and I will specify the disk. So dev stb1, this one, hit enter. So volume group is also successfully created. Now let's check if it is created. Yeah, so we can see this one is created, and it has size of around 5 GB, out of which 5 GB is free. Okay, now our next step is to create LVM, logical volume. So in this tutorial I am going to create one logical volume of 2 GB and another of 3 GB. So for that, lb create, and name of the logical volume primary LV and then L. So I'm going to create with 2 GB, so dash L and the size 2 GB and the volume group name, so my volume group is my PG, and hit enter. And to check if it is created or not, uh, LBS command. So, okay, so this one is created. Now I will create so out of um, this volume group 5 GB, I have created one logical volume of 3 GB, and I will create one more logical volume, and that will be the remaining size from this 5 GB. So again I'm going to create secondary LB and dash L, and then 100% free, and then volume group name my PG, and hit enter. Okay, so if you see here, primary LB size is 2 GB and secondary volume size is around 3 GB. Now I will format this both LVM with ext4 file system. For that, ext4 slash dev my vg primary. Okay, I will also format this secondary vg with ext4 file system. So hit enter. Okay, now I have created two LVM and formatted with ext4 file system. Now I am going to mount this to logical volume. So for that I will create one directory called primary storage, and second I will create a secondary storage. Okay, now I am going to mount this primary as well as secondary of at these two folder. So for that, mount dev my vg and volume group, and then logical volume, so primary. So I'm going to mount it at primary storage. Hit enter. Now I am going to mount a secondary a logical volume at secondary storage. Hit enter. And now to check if it is mounted or not successfully, so command is df-ht and hit enter. So if you see here, we have created a primary logical volume, and it is file type is ext4 file system, size is 2 GB, and it is mounted at this point. Similarly, we have secondary logical volume, file type is this one, total size is this one, used is this one, available size is 2.8 GB, and it is mounted. So finally we are able to mount this both the LVM at this two mount point. So this is a mount point. Okay, so thanks for watching the video. So I will create another video on another topic.